Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? I hope you're enjoying the best of health. I welcome you in my class that is English for grade 5. We are learning Unit 4. Its title is Helping Others. My dear fellow teachers, this lesson plan, PowerPoint presentation, worksheet links are given. You may click it, download it, follow it as it is, or modify it for your convenience. I'm going to deliver my lecture according to this lesson plan. Yes, my dear students, under the title of grammar, we are going to learn about punctuation marks. And before this in grade 4, I have already taught you about punctuation marks. I hope you remember. If not, you may watch this video lecture again. And today we are going to learn further to identify and use question words, why and how often, and etc. And write sentences of their own by using correct capitalization, punctuation and spelling, and recall the rules of punctuation learned earlier. These are our today's SLOs. Let's start with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah mentions in Quran, Surah An-Naba, verse 1 till 4. What are they asking one another about? About the great news that over which they are in disagreement. No, they will come to know. Yes, my dear children, what this verse is about. These verses are telling us Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to our beloved Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because whenever our beloved Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, used to tell to disbelievers that correct yourself, a day will come when you'll have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they used to say, oh, when that day is coming, why it has not come yet? Astaghfirullah. So Allah is warning them. They are in disagreement and they will come to know whatever you are saying. This is correct. This is all truth. So my dear children, these verses are also telling us a rule that whatever we ask, we should ask rational questions, reasonable questions, the questions which make sense. So whenever we are asking a question, we should ask ourselves, is it correct? Should I ask it? So we should ask. This is another thing. Whatever we don't know, we should ask. But we should ask relevant questions. Right? So how do we ask questions? We have learned it. Let's learn further. First, you tell me what this mark is called and where do we use it. And what this mark is called and where do we use it. Answer these questions to your teacher and then come back. Yes, my dear children, I hope you remember and you could recall we have learned the rules that this mark is known as question mark. And where do we use it? We use a question mark at the end of interrogative sentences. Means when we are going to ask something, we are going to inquire about something, and in writing we want to mention it, we use this sign at the end of the statement like this. Who are you? So it's a question. That's why I have put a question mark. Where do you live? So it's a question mark. And one thing more, you see, these are question words. So we start a question statement with a question word. We use the first letter capital and we put a question mark at the end of the statement, right? Which is your bag. So I want to know which is. So all these words, these are question words, which we have used with capital letters and we have applied a question mark when we are putting these words in the beginning of the sentence, all right? So we have learned the rule of capitalization. The next is exclamation mark. Where do we use it? An exclamation mark is used after a word or a group of words or a sentence expressing strong feelings. So whenever there are strong feelings, because better when we talk, we can express it through our words. But when we are writing how to express it, we use this mark, exclamation mark, to show that it's a strong emotion. For example, hurrah. So we are happy and this word is explaining it, okay? That's why we have used exclamation mark. We have won the match. And oh no, so this is showing a sad feeling. Emotions can be happy, sad, excitement. There are many types of emotion. So whenever you are mentioning in writing, you will use an exclamation mark after that. Remember? All right. So next is apostrophe. We use an apostrophe to show possession. For example, Ali's jacket. So this apostrophe S is showing this jacket belongs to Ali. Again, Umar's dress. So whose dress is this? Umar's dress. Cat's tail, right? Remember? All right. So next is full stop. We use full stop at the end of simple sentences. For example, I am a student. We are all cousins. And I am your English teacher. All right. So these all are affirmative simple sentences. That's why we have put a full stop. And this full stop also tells this statement ends here. We don't want to mention anything further about this statement. And if we have to, what do we do? Yes, we use comma to show the small pause and continuity of the statement. So where do we use comma? We use comma to separate nouns, pronouns, and adjectives in a sentence. For example, go to the market and bring carrots, potatoes, and tomatoes. All these are nouns, and we have separated these nouns by putting commas. Carrots, potatoes, and these are three nouns. If they are more than three, we will keep on listing the nouns by putting commas. And for before the last noun, we'll put and, we'll write and we will, by completing the sentence, we'll put a full stop, right? The next use of comma is, we use comma to separate, as I told you, nouns, its turn of pronouns. If there are more than three pronouns, what do you do? I, comma, my friends and their cousin. Now you see, I, my, their, all are pronouns, so we have separated them by putting commas. And I like this red, fresh, and juicy apple. Now, red, fresh, juicy, all three are adjectives. So we have separated them by putting commas. Okay, so we have learned all these. We are just recalling. I hope you remember. And if you are listening first time, you can take notes, all right? And you can make it on your fingertips where we are using commas, all right? So the next use of comma is, we use a comma in short formal dialogue. For example, yes, you can. Now, two people are talking. One is asking about something, and the other is saying, yes, you can do it, or you can have it, or whatever, okay? So after yes, we have put comma to keep this word separate from rest of the sentence, all right? Please sit down. No, you have to wait, okay? No means whatever you want to do, stop it, you have to wait, all right? So the next is the practice from your book, and for today's lecture, for today's practice, our focus will be exclamation mark and question mark. Though we have recalled many rules, but we'll focus for practice for these two. An exclamation mark is often used after a command or interjection or a word that shows surprise or anger. Yes, my dear children, as I told you, when we are expressing ourselves in writing, we use exclamation mark. And all the words which show command, request, surprise, anger, all are called interjection. And we know interjection is one of the part of speech, right? So inshallah, we'll learn about this part of speech in detail as well. But for now, if you are using a word to express emotions, that can be anger or sorrow or command or surprise, whatever the emotion is, after the word which is expressing that emotion, after that you have to put an exclamation mark. Do you understand? All right. For example, sit down. Now, when teacher says sit down, it means it's a command from your teacher, sit down. So that's why we have put an exclamation mark, right? Oh dear, Now it is exclamation mark. This is telling out of sheer love, my dear children, right? The way I say it to you, all right? So this exclamation mark is used here to show the emotion. What a surprise! Wow, what a surprise, right? So this exclamation. You are fired. Whoa, right? I told you not to do that. I told you not to do that, right? So beta, this is how in writing, when I'm saying it, I need not to put exclamation mark. But when I'm writing, how will I say, I told you not to do that? If I say it simply, it becomes a simple sentence. But this exclamation mark is showing the emotion. I told you not to do that, right? So this is why we have put to tell this is something which we have already corrected for you. Right? Do you understand? Okay, so you keep on practicing these emotions, keep on reading with like when you say it, you will not read the exclamation mark, just show it with your expressions. Pause the video, read it out for yourself, and then come back. Yes, my dear children, are you done with it? Good job. So it's time for question words now. We have learned about what, who, where, why, when. Remember, where do we use these question words? Okay, I'm going to tell you again. Use of what? We use what when we are inquiring about something. What is this? What is your name? So this word is telling we are asking, inquiring about something. Who? We use this question word when we are inquiring about someone, a person. Who is your brother? Like, who is the person who did this? Who is the person who did this? Where? We use this question word if we want to inquire about place. Where are you going? What is the place? Where are you going? Where is my book? Which is the place where my book is placed? Right? Next is when. We use when we are inquiring about time. When will you reach home? Or when are you going to Karachi? Right? The next is why. We use why when we are inquiring about the reason. Something has happened and we want to know the reason. Why is the baby crying? So what is the reason for baby to cry? That's why we have used why. Why is she not paying attention? So what is the reason of her behavior? She's not paying attention. Why it's like that? You got it? So these are question words which we have already learned. Now the next one is a new for us, and that is, what is that? How often? This is also a combination of question word, and we use it when we want to ask about questions of frequency. When we want to inquire about frequency of an action. And what does frequency mean? How many times, how often, how many times, or how, like in a week or in a month or in a year, how many times this action takes place. Do you understand the meaning of frequency? So whenever we want to know the numbers of time, how many times this action is happening, we use how often. And we use it together in the beginning of sentence. For example, how often do they play cricket? Right? So what is frequency of them to play cricket? Maybe once a week, once a month, twice a month, twice fortnightly. It varies, okay? So how often is showing we want to know how many times this action is taking place, right? And how often do you go out, right? For a picnic or for a party or for dining out, how often do you go? So this how often is showing the, like we want to inquire, the question is about how many times this action is taking place. Are you clear? All right, so it's time to practice it from your book. So read out these questions for yourself with expressions and pause the video, read these questions, and then come back. Yes, my dear children, are you done with practice? Okay, so it's time to find out how much have you learned. I'm going to do it through an activity. What we are going to do? Teacher will divide class into two groups. Group 1 will decide a topic, for example, hobby. The other group members then race to make questions relating to the topic using one of the question words. For example, how often do you play your favorite game? Okay, the first student to ask a suitable question wins, and he or she will say, bingo, I have asked the right question. Okay, so once one group is done, then it will be turn for group 2. Right? So pause the video, enjoy this beautiful activity, and then come back. Yes, my dear children, are you done with it? Good job. So I hope there are many bingos in the class. Good job. So all of you, calm down, settle down, because it's practice time from your book. You will write 10 sentences which show strong emotions and use exclamation mark. And be careful to use correct capitalization, as I was keeping a view about that. So I hope you will be careful about capitalization, punctuation, and spellings. Okay? So you have to write just 10 sentences. Pause the video, write these 10 sentences in your notebook, and then come back. Yes, my dear children, are you done with it? Good job. And have you checked your work for capital letters and punctuations and all the spelling? Good job. Okay, so it's time for your homework. Now, at your home, in your notebook, you will write 10 sentences using correct punctuation, capitalization, spellings, and question words. And I'm giving you 2 worksheets for practice, my dear fellow teachers. These worksheets, lesson plan, PowerPoint presentation links are given. You may click it, download it, and kindly provide students with printed worksheet for practice. And my dear children, what you are going to do? In worksheet 1, you will read this sentence and you will put a correct punctuation mark, either is question mark or exclamation. And here, from this word bank, you are going to complete the question according to the answer given. Okay, so you will complete the question and you will link the statement with the correct answer. Okay, so be careful. In this way, what we have learned, we recalled the rules of punctuations learned earlier. We identified and used question words, why and how often. We focused on these words, and we wrote few sentences by using correct capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. So in this way, we achieved our SLO to identify and use question words, why and how often, write sentences of their own by using correct capitalization, punctuation, and spelling, and recall the rules of punctuations learned earlier. Yes, my dear children, are we done with it? Yes. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll come again with a very interesting lesson. Till that time, keep learning, keep practicing. Take very good care of yourself and the people around you. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.